We are going to take a tour today through three elements of the current American right wing, and we're going to go through them from the top down, and it's going to be about this movement called Trumpism. It starts with Trump, then it goes to other elected officials who are just as wacky or wackier, and then it goes to the people that follow them. And we're going to be able to see all of this through a rally in Georgia that Donald Trump held over the weekend. We're going to look at what Trump said, we're going to look at what other Republicans said, and we'll look at what rally goers said. So we are going to start here first with Donald Trump. I want to remind you, very small crowd. This was the smallest Trump rally crowd in Georgia in 6 years, barely 5,000 people. Trump always says there's 50,000 people here. He said at a recent rally there were 87,000 people there. There weren't. Those are just lies. But it is true that Trump used to get 10 to 20,000 people at these rallies, barely 5,000 people, entire sections with very, very empty seats. So understand that context. Let's jump right into the first clip where Donald Trump seems to be very clearly saying, I'm running in 2024, but he also says he's already won twice.
I ran twice, I won twice, and I did much better the second time. And now we just may have to do it again.
Imagine being this excited that the guy who lost your party everything, he lost the White House after one term, he oversaw Republicans losing the Senate, he oversaw Republicans losing the House. They lost everything under Trump and they want more. It's like a comedy show at this time, except it's not. Then this is a classic Trump unintelligible rant. It's something about gas prices. But Trump is visibly confused. He glitches. I can't make heads or tails out of what he's saying.
Because energy is so expensive today, gallons. You take a look at your, forget about it, the pump. You take a look at a barrel now, it'll be $2. It could be, people are saying it's going to go up to, think of this. People are saying...
Oh, man. A barrel might go all the way up to $3. That would be the best deal on a barrel I could imagine.
Per barrel, this is going over $100. It's going over $150. It's going up to $200 and $250. So we're making these countries...
By the way, they cut to a Vietnam veteran who seems as confused as anybody in the crowd. Look at the look on this guy's face. Okay, so it does not appear that any of what Trump is saying is going to happen. Oil went up. It got to about 125. It came back down. It may go up a little bit again, but what Trump is saying is just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Trump also back to saying Putin is smart. He's going back to Putin is smart.
But they asked me, is Putin smart? Yes, Putin was smart. And I actually thought he was going to be negotiating. I said, that's a hell of a way to negotiate. Put 200,000 soldiers on the border. It should have never happened. Certain things, and that thing would have ended, but they didn't have the common sense. They didn't know what to do. We wouldn't have even had to give him. I think he made a big mistake. I think he made a big mistake.
All right. So it's completely unintelligible what sort of point Donald Trump is trying to make there. Then Trump told one of these sir stories where he says, they said, sir, but this story is the opposite of relatable. Trump says, because of the supply chain issues, Tiffany is out of rings, which the crowd really can relate with.
Who the hell ever heard of this stuff? You go to the stores and the cupboards are empty. You go into Tiffany, and where is your ring? Oh, sir, we think we can have it in the next 7 to 8 months. Oh, that's wonderful. The good news is you don't buy anything, you save a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah. And of course, Trump's crowd, that's a common problem. They're trying to buy rings at Tiffany, and they're on back order. That's a really, really common problem. Trump did address the confirmation hearings of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and this is beyond parody. Trump says that Jackson was disrespectful to the Republican senators, if you can imagine that.
But Judge Jackson was unbelievably disrespectful to Republican senators.
What?
That in many cases were really nicely asking questions. She had total disdain and even hatred for them, and I understand that she's very proud of the fact that she never once voted to support President Trump on anything. She always...
Yes, they were very nicely asking questions like, are babies racist? Are you soft on people convicted for a child molestation or for explicit images of children? Can you define a woman? And other similarly respectful questions. Just, I mean, quite literally, you could just you hear Trump and then you go, okay, the opposite of that. That must be what is true. Also, this is a clip that reminds us how desensitized we are to the absurdity of what Trump now says, where he can now essentially say, other governors haven't helped me with the coup, and it doesn't even really make headlines anymore.
But he had no chance at the time, in his opinion, against Stacey Abrams. She was going to beat him, and then he asked me to get involved, and I had two rallies like this, 52,000 people at each at the airport. I said, Brian, you're going to win. And he said, I don't think so, sir. I said, you're going to win, Brian. I don't think so, sir. I don't think I can beat her. I said, Brian, look at this crowd, but they're here for you. And you know what? It's true. They weren't here for him. They were here for me. And he ended up winning twice.
Okay.
He ended up winning. And then when we needed help, he wasn't there for this country. And it was for the country. He wasn't there. But the bad news is...
He wasn't there to help me with the coup. That's an insane thing for a former president to say, and we are so desensitized to it that that didn't even make headlines. Two more quick clips here. Of course, Trump is the perfect victim. He is the one treated the most unfairly. Everybody's so mean to Trump.
Now, no president has ever suffered like I've suffered at the hands of these animals. People say to me, how the hell did you do it? And I can't even give them an answer. I don't know. I think I did it because I love you and because we have a job to do.
Nobody has ever been treated this unfairly. And then last clip, it is March, almost April of 2022. Hillary Clinton has not been a candidate for almost 6 years, and they're chanting, lock her up.
I'm suing for millions of dollars in damages against crooked Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Andrew McCabe. The two lovers, remember the lovers, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. And they're going around suing everybody. They used the FBI's web. That was not a good idea. They used the FBI servers.
They're for law and order, they're for due process, and yet they say, lock someone up who hasn't even been charged with a crime. This is a very sick group of people, but remember, Trump's only part of it. After the break, we'll look at his acolytes who spoke at the rally, and then we'll look at the rally goers, which are, I would argue, just as bad and potentially even more dangerous. So we'll take a quick break. We'll have all of these clips on our Instagram at David Pakman Show, and we'll be right back. One of our sponsors is Splendid Spoon. Now, if you're like me, I love planning my meals out for the week, but sometimes I just run out of time to plan them for every single day. And Splendid Spoon makes that whole process a lot easier. They deliver fresh, delicious, plant-based meals right to your door, ready to eat. No cooking, no cleaning dishes, saves you a lot of time. You can choose from over 50 hot and cold meal options. There's smoothies, grain and noodle bowls, soups. I'm a big soup guy. Many of you know that. I also really liked the vegan meatballs with marinara noodles. Delicious. Both I and Splendid Spoon believe eating more plant-based is a great tool for feeling good, for helping the environment. The list goes on. I'm not vegan. You all know that, I think. But Splendid Spoon is really great to just help me maximize the proportion of plants in my diet. Splendid Spoon takes all of the work out of tasty, healthy, plant-based meals. And you'll save $35 when you go to splendidspoon.com/Pakman. The link is down below.